This is the GRECELL Portable Power Station 1000W, and honestly, just looking at it, you can already tell it's built for real-life use. It's got a compact and boxy shape, kind of like a small cooler, and I really like that it feels both sturdy and practical. The handle is rubberized and super grippy, which is helpful when you're actually moving it around, even though it's a bit heavy at 17 pounds. But in my opinion, for something packing this much battery, that's still very manageable for carrying. For me, it mostly stays in the car or gets taken out for camping trips, so I don't mind the weight. From my experience, what set this GRECELL 1000W apart from smaller power banks I've tried before is how much you can do with it. I wanted a backup that could handle more than just charging my phone or running a light. I wanted something that could power a little cooktop, maybe a blender, and keep a laptop and camera charged when I'm out in the middle of nowhere. The GRECELL seemed like an all-in-one answer, and so far it's lived up to that pretty well. When it first arrived, out of the box it came with a tidy storage bag for the cables, which is way more important than I realized. Keeping all the cords together saves time and frustration. There are 3 charging cables that come with it, one for regular wall outlets, one for the car, and one for a solar panel. I had a small moment of confusion with the solar cable because my solar setup needed a different adapter, but the manual was actually clear enough to sort that out. It's worth knowing you'll probably need the specific adapter that fits your solar panel. These don't generally come in the box unless they're from the same brand. Plugging it in for the first time is straightforward. There's a big display right on the front, showing battery percentage and how many watts you're putting in or pulling out. It might sound like just a techie detail, but for anyone new to this type of battery, wattage basically means how much power is moving. It really helps you keep an eye on how much energy is coming in during charging or going out when you're using the station, and it helps plan for longer trips off-grid or keep track during a blackout at home. A cool touch is the light built into the side. Sounds simple, but when you're camping or if the power's out, that built-in flashlight comes in really handy. It's not just an afterthought. The brightness is decent, and it covers a small camp table or tent pretty easily. There's a button to turn it on and off, and it's separate from the battery outputs. One detail that tripped me up at first was that you have to actually press the corresponding button for each output area. There are buttons for AC outlets, DC, and USB. If you just plug in a device but don't press the right button, it won't start charging. I found that a bit confusing until I actually sat down with the manual for a second. Now it makes sense. It basically means it's not wasting any battery unless you explicitly tell it to send power to the ports you need. Speaking of ports, the GRECELL 1000W pretty much covers all the basics. There are 2 regular AC wall outlets, a 60-watt USB-C port, which is awesome for newer laptops and tablets since it's fast charging, and 3 USB-A quick charge ports for phones, headphones, little gadgets like that. There's a wireless charging pad on top, which has come in handy for just tossing my phone on and not dealing with cables. Something to note, if you want wireless charging to work, you do have to make sure the USB section is activated. Otherwise, the pad won't deliver power. I missed that detail at first and thought maybe the wireless didn't work. But again, user error. Once I learned, it's very easy. Another thing that stands out is the amount of gear you can connect at once. The label says up to 10 devices at the same time, as long as you don't go over the 1000-watt power limit. From what I've used so far, it doesn't miss a beat with several things plugged in. I've run a mini fridge, fan, 2 phones, and a camera charger at the same time, and the station handled it without a problem. For those new to terms like pure sine wave, it simply means the AC outlets deliver clean, stable power, which is important if you're charging sensitive electronics like laptops or medical devices. Cheaper stations sometimes use modified sine wave, and that can be rough on electronics, so pure sine wave here is actually a big plus if you're like me and depend on gear that needs steady power. I personally appreciate the battery management system that GRECELL talks up. Basically, the system prevents the station from overcharging, getting too hot, or short-circuiting. There are fans inside that kick on to cool things off, and they're really quiet. Safety isn't always the first thing you think about with battery packs, but it matters a lot when you're trusting it with expensive devices or keeping things running in an emergency. One of my early concerns was charging speed. With some older power stations, it felt like getting a full charge took forever. This one, from my experience, charges up pretty fast from the wall, usually within a few hours from half to full. Solar panel charging takes a bit longer and really depends on the amount of sunlight. On a bright day with a good panel, I got about 80% charge by mid-afternoon. That's honestly better than I expected, but it will vary a lot depending on weather. The display screen is bright and easy to read, but I'll be real. It's not always totally accurate when the battery is close to empty or full. Sometimes it jumps between percentages, and a couple of reviews I read online mention the same thing. It doesn't affect how the station works, but if you absolutely need precise numbers, that's something to keep in mind. For people who want a straightforward, no-nonsense power station for camping, car travel, or just to have around during blackouts, I'd recommend this for sure. It's not going to power your whole house or big construction tools, but for small appliances, lights, laptops, and phones, it does the job really well. The portability is perfect for family outings or just having peace of mind if you lose power unexpectedly. Durability-wise, those rubber bumpers and the strong handle are a huge plus. I tend to bump my gear into doors or drop things when I load up the car, and so far, the GRECELL's taken it like a champ. The overall finish and tight construction make it look and feel like something you can rely on. A point worth sharing is how easy it is to set up and operate, even if you've never used a portable generator or power station before. The instructions really are clear, and there aren't any complicated menus. You just charge it up, plug in your devices, and remember to hit the right buttons for the ports you're using. It's that simple. In conclusion, the GRECELL Portable Power Station 1000W is kind of the all-in-one solution I was looking for to support my outdoor adventures, car trips, and emergency needs at home. It feels sturdy, offers a ton of features, and makes charging up my devices stress-free. My only nitpicks are that the display could be more precise, and you have to double-check your charging cables for solar panels. Aside from that, it's been reliable for everything I've needed. If you're thinking about getting a portable power station and want plenty of options for charging devices, this unit earns my recommendation. Thanks for sticking around for this quick review. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and drop your questions or thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.